Hi, so today I'm going to give you a quick tour and explanation of the parts and functions of the principal or director account of course, in Nuadu. So for us to access our principal and director account, first and foremost, we need to pull up a browser, or you may go to the Nuadu app inside Microsoft Teams. For the browser, you may go to app.nuadu.com. So just app.nuadu.com here should suffice. And after you hit enter, the browser would automatically route you to this page. Now once you're done, just put in your principal or director login number, the 8-digit code which is provided to you. And then of course, hit next. Once you have that, just hit next and then enter your password. Let's just wait for it to load. All right. All right. So right now the page is currently loading, and while it's loading, as you can see, we only have 3 sections here compared to the teacher's account, which has more. If I'm not mistaken, it has a total of 6 or maybe 5. But anyway, for the principal or director's account, it would only have 3 sections. So let's start with the start section. What can we see in the start section? Basically, the principal or director account is used to check or to monitor the usage of the platform, the performance of the students, and also of the teachers. So going to the start section, you will see a box here. This is the actual analytics or Power BI box, what we call. So it's an analytics provided by Microsoft's Power BI. So the very first thing that we need to do here is to, of course, select the months that we want to view. And so for now, I'm just gonna click on select all. Then once you have selected your filters here, what months you want to view, then the data that we have in the analytics will be populated. So we have the student login ratio, how many students have actually logged in against the total number of students that has access to Nuadu. And then we also have the same info for the teacher's login plus the overall login ratio. So ano po ba tong again, yung student login ratio po natin is the actual student logins compared to the number of compared to the number of logins or the number of students. So let's say there are only 5 students who logged in and there are a total of 10 students who has access to Nuadu. So the student login ratio would be 50%. So in this case, if we have like 19 students and only 5% has logged in, so that would translate to 4 student logins. These are, by the way, these are unique logins. So hindi po siya nauulit. So if a students re-enter or re-access Nuadu, hindi po siya madadagdag sa student login ratio. And then on the right side, or on the second quadrant, we have the number of users, the number of parents account, students account, and teachers account. Now on the lower left area or quadrant, we have the total number of student logins. So the total number of student logins here is cumulative, meaning if one student logs in 5 times within the month or 10 times within the month, it will be counted as 10 here. So bali hindi po to unique logins. Yung unique logins po natin nandito sa student login ratio. And then we also have the total number of teachers login. So that's what we can see on the initial tab of the Power BI or yung analytics po natin sa principal or director's account. Yun po yung tinatawag nating login activity. So dito po, we can monitor the usage when it comes to logins of the users in Nuwag. Now, next tab that we have for the Power BI is the assessment activity. So what do we have for the assessment activity? Sa assessment activity naman po, what the analytics that we will have would be the total number of exercises. Exercises would be the number of exercises, meaning questions. And then also assigned activities. Activities naman po would be the assignments, quiz, and exams. Right, so the pink one, or magenta, or fuchsia, it's the total number of questions assigned. And then yung gray naman po would be the total number of activities assigned. Yeah, next is we have the opening ratio. Ano po ba yung opening ratio? Opening ratio means the out of all the exercises assigned to the students, what is the percentage of those exercises wherein the students open the exercises or open and answer the questions. So yan po yung 92% or yung opening ratio natin. So let's say for example, there are a total of 100 assigned exercises. If the opening ratio is 92%, that means 92 questions were opened out of the 100 questions. Opened meaning accessed and answered by the students. Next is the average score of exercises with at least one answer. So out of the 92% opened activities, average score ng mga students natin for the whole school is 78.2%. So yan po yung mga data na makikita natin sa assessment activity. Next is yung class activity. Let me just make sure that I have filtered this correctly. And I think it's just August 2019 yung may data ako sa this trial account that I have. So ano po yung makikita natin dito sa class activity? In class activity, we can actually see a comparison of the activities, the number of activity or the number of exercises assigned to each class. So in my case, I only have 2 classes, but we have extra filters here. So if we only want to see class 1B or class 1A, we can filter that out. And then also the subject name, if we only want to see maths or just science or for a specific subject, we can also filter that out. So for now, I'm just going to select all so that we can see more data. So under the total number of exercises in classes, so for class 1A, there were a total of 190 exercises or questions assigned to the class. And then for class 1B, there were a total of 270 questions assigned to the class. So we can already see here that class 1B is getting more exercises or questions compared to class 1A. Now let's take a look at the class opening ratio. So for class 1A, out of the 190 exercises that was assigned by the teacher, 99.5% of those questions have been opened. And then for class 1B, it's a total of 86.7% of the questions. On this view, we can also see the comparison of the average score of each class. So we can see that class 1A averages 80.74%. Meanwhile, class 1B averages 76.2%. Now, I only have 2 classes. If you have more, like if you have 20 classes, then you can easily compare the class specific to each grade level. You just need to filter it out using the class, and if you want to filter it out by subject, pwede din po. So, yun po yung data na nakikita natin sa class activity. Next is, or last tab for the analytics is the teacher's activity. So, this is the part wherein, or this is the tab wherein the principal or the director can see the productivity of the teacher when it comes to the activities that he or she assigns within the Nuadu platform. So I only have one demo teacher here. So I can see that this teacher, let me just check the filters here. Let me try class 1A. And so for the teacher, total number of exercises assigned by the teacher, let's see how many. Yeah, it's not load. So a total of 460 assigned exercises. So meaning the teacher has assigned 460 exercises. And then the opening ratio per teacher. So out of the 460 exercises assigned by the teacher, the students have opened, or his or her students have opened 92% of the questions. And then same with the class activity, you can check the performance of each class under this teacher. So for class 1A, 80.74%, and for class 1B, 76.16%. So if you have more teachers here, you can actually compare the teachers. So maybe compare the teachers in a certain grade level and a certain subject. So it's up to you to filter out kung ano po yung gusto nyong makitang data and comparison or yung analytics within your school organization. Right, so that's the quick explanation and run through ng mga tabs po natin within the start section and within the Power BI or yung analytics natin. Now, let's go to the next section. The next section that the principal or director account has is the question section. This is very, very similar to the teacher's access. However, the principal or the director doesn't have an ability to create a question. But from here, he or she can review all the questions available in the question banks within the platform or yung questions that are linked to your school, depending on the publisher that you subscribe with. Right? And then same with the teacher's account, we have different filters here, the scope, the question type, the ranking, and the difficulty level. So it's very straightforward. This page allows the director or the principal to review all the questions available within the platform. So the principal or the director can preview this and even rank the score or yung actual ranking here. You can see the actual ranking. And then the principal or the director can also try answering the questions when they preview it. Right? So it's very straightforward. Yung question banks natin, nakikita rin po yan ni principal or ni director. And then last section would be the progress section. So for the progress section, this is very similar with the teacher's account again. We have the available tabs for the progress. If the principal wants to check the progress of a class per activity, meaning activities assigned by the teacher to this class, and then also the progress when it comes to topics and subtopics. So very similar. It's identical to the teacher's account. So whatever the teacher is seeing in the progress view, the principal or the director can see it as well. The only difference is, of course, the principal or the director has more access to the classes. So meaning, the teacher can only see the class assigned to his or her, and then the principal or the director can actually see all the classes within the school. So if there are a total of, like, let's say 40 classes, then the director can actually view all the classes here and then check the progress per student, per group, per class. And then also the director or principal can also filter it or check the progress per subject. So when it comes to the generation of data, it's the same as the teacher. Select the subject, select the class, and then select the period from which you want to view the progress. So this is the from and the to date. So this can be done weekly, monthly, quarterly, or biannually, or yearly. It's all up to the principal or the director on what he or she wants to view. Right. Well, that's it. That's basically the things that you can do in a principal or the director account. Mostly monitoring the performance of the class, the progress, and also monitoring the performance of the teachers. Right. So thank you and have a wonderful day.